मेहंदी है, मेहंदी तो रंग लाएगी. The wild shrub which I am focusing right now with brick red, scarlet colored tubular flowers. This belongs to the same family to which the henna belongs. That is Lawsonia inermis is henna, and it belongs to the family Lithraceae. In fact, in Kashmir we find Lithrum salicaria, purple loose stripe, and after Lithrum family name is Lithraceae. But this is a wild bush, rather very important Ayurveda medicinal shrub which grows in the wilderness or rather in very rocky, drought-prone locations. See the fascinating decorative flowering at this time when we have just experiencing the rise in temperature. So this particular plant having the leaves opposite without any stalk. There is no petiole. The stalkless leaves grow in pairs, and on the undersurface of each leaf, if we focus, we will find the black colored dots. So that is another diagnostic feature. And then this is a calyx tube basically. And on the rim of that, we find minute petals. So beauty is even the stamens with the red filaments. So all beauty has been taken by other flower parts rather than the petals. So there are about a brush of 10 stamens, and inside there is a rich nectar. And this nectar attracts many honeybees. Still we are able to see many honeybees who are collecting nectar from Buduphodia fruticosa, as this shrub is known in botany taxonomically. So this particular plant, flower powder and even the extract of the leaves is very useful in a fermentation process. In fact, scientists have reported the presence of methanogenic bacteria inside the sour this nectar found in the flowers of this Buduphodia fruticosa, and we'll see many sunbirds also and many other nectarivorous birds which usually visit this shrub in the early hours. Since it is already midday now and they are not present at this time. But if we see this bush in early morning, say 8 or before 8 a.m. in the morning, definitely we will find many birds also. They are collecting for example, purple sunbird, the Goldie's sunbird, even scarlet sunbird. They come and they sip nectar. So this is very useful drug also, useful for vomiting, in the treatment of vomiting. This is also a very good cure for dysentery, digestive related problems. So this bush has been revered in Ayurveda under the name Dhataki. So this is also useful in Dhatu Rog, and this particular plant have the astringency, which astringency is very useful for curing the digestive related problems. So this particular shrub is recommended for introduction in the all floriculture parks and gardens. For its beauty is very beautiful. Beauty is attractive. The flowers are really, and just when I am talking, I have seen the purple sunbird also. Just Nectarinia asiatica or Cyanurus asiaticus, the purple, glistening purple color back of the male, I am able to see. It has just come to sip the nectars and singing. It has just, since the motorcycle came, or it created some kind of noise, so it just flew away. But few minutes back, it was very much here on Buduphodia fruticosa. In Dogri we called as Tai. This is the wild habitat of a threatened wild ornamental plant, Phlomides superba. Previously, it was named in botany as Eremus techis superba. Local people are familiar with this plant under the name Gajarmula, as the plant has tuberous roots which look like carrot or radish. So it has been fondly named as Gajarmula. How beautiful it is. It is in English popularly named as Himalayan golden spike because of the flowering spike, which is so golden yellow, and it is very attractive. So this is the plant which is widely growing in Noti village This village is Nuti in the block Sundarbani of Rajouri Forest Division and Rajouri district. We are able to see some of the honey bees also. They are also collecting the bee forage. And some are bumblebees also. Hymenopteran insects. So they are also trying to, but I think pollination is not that successful. Maybe the genuine pollinator is missing, and this particular Hymenopteran pond is not able to effectively carry out pollination. So we have very poor seed set in case of Phlomides superba, Aremostaches superba. And this is the season of March, April. Especially now it is already April. So we can see there is nearby the farmland fields of Avena sativa, Jai or Laya or Lana as we call this grass, fodder grass, Avena. And also there is, I think, wheat crops also nearby. And then we find this location where at least I can count about, there are so many plants in the vicinity. So we can safely count them as more than 60, maybe 70. So this habitat need to be preserved, and the local people, since they have the traditional use of this Aremostaches superba or Phlomides superba or Gajar mula, the crushed roots are fed to the cattle to either increase the milk yield or treat their some kind of ailments. The cattle, when has the weakened immunity and is not able to carry out the normal functions, and they suspect some kind of disease, then its roots are uprooted only in the necessity, if the necessity arises, and then those crushed roots are fed to the cattle to cure them of that particular weakness as per local people's this input. So this is the wilderness habitat where we are able to see this is a Kacharai land, a common land, and we have many other plants growing here, but mostly it's a farmland, so the land has the agricultural use, and this is somehow we find this particular plant only in the wilderness where there is farmlands. Strictly speaking, it is missing from the inside dense forests. But this unique plant, Gajar mula, is considered a threatened plant of India, and as per the Section 38 for Jammu and Kashmir, as per the requirements of the Indian Biodiversity Act, under Section 38, this stands as one of the plant which need preservation at the level of government. Forest Department is in charge of the biodiversity also. So this particular plant figures in that list also under the threatened category, and it has unique traditional input. Traditionally, the plant has been exploited by the local communities since ages, and now we are able to see this particular plant growing in the wilderness here. So many spikes, Himalayan golden spike, and now we have come across another wild Ilium also. This is the Ilium rubellum. See the beauty of Ilium rubellum. We have light pinkish flower heads, and it is also called as masala or jungli pyas, and this is also used as edible plant. So this particular habitat of Phlomides superba, Aremostaches superba, is also the habitat of wild Ilium or onion, which is Ilium rubellum. And even on the flowers of Ilium rubellum, dipteran houseflies are also trying to enjoy the floral feast. This is another plant which grows in the wilderness. Otherwise, we are familiar with the onion and garlic, which is under cultivation and also used in the kitchen. But this is another, sometimes it is called as masala by the local people. And this is Ilium rubellum, which is growing in wilderness on its own. So many plants of Ilium rubellum we are able to see, along with the rich growth of Eremostachys superba. This is a village road, link road, and along the roadside we are able to see the rich beauty of this Himalayan golden spike, the threatened plant. This is the road. This is the road and Noti village. And here we are seeing the beautiful spikes of Gajar Mula. So wherever we go, we see these plants are growing in wilderness all across the landscape of this agricultural land. So we have the habitat. Specifically, I think it should be preserved under the Biodiversity Conservation Program as the Eremostachys awareness point, where we see the trees of Tonaciliata, we see the trees of Melia Zadrak, even Jejefus, Jujuba, and even there is a tree which is Grevia. It is Grevia optiva, and here is Persian lilac. Locally we call it as drink, and then there is a people tree, Ficus religiosa, and all these three trees, that is Grevia optiva Tamman, along with Melia Zadrak drink, and Ficus religiosa people bud. We have the reverence of local deity, village deity, under these three trees, and this is the reverence of nature, kind of sacred group we can say, where we can, if we peep inside, we will be able to see the local Devi Ma, and there is also Trishul dedicated to Lord Shiva, and this is a very religious location in the Noti village, where we find the preserved three trees, Grevia optiva, Melia Zadrak, Ficus religiosa, along with the preserved Eremostachys superba, now called as Phlomides superba, from the mint family Lamiaceae. We are also seeing the ladybird beetles, then this spooned hymenopteran insect also, and because of poor seed set, there is a compromised kind of regeneration. So assisted regeneration is required, but this is beauty. There's these two fascinating plants. One is a Phlomides superba, and then we have the wild Ilium, that's the Ilium rubellum, which is also growing along with the natural habitat of Eremostachys superba. All these are the flowers of Eremostachys, Phlomides superba, golden yellow flowers, and light pink or purplish pink blossoms of Ilium rubellum in the wilderness of Noti village, which falls in the Rajouri forest division. So this is the natural beauty of spring, where we find such valuable plants of conservation concern, which need to be protected for posterity, and since it has the traditional veterinary use and also thought things, the local people have this idea and knowledge that this is also useful for the mulch cattle. So this Phlomides superba habitat is also being shared by another plant, Samudra Sok, Salvia plebea, in the vicinity.